Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Steel Sanctuary podcast. I'm your host, Dave Romero from SteelSanctuary.com, and this is my co-host, David Coro. Dave, how's it going?
Hey, what's up, brother?
Steelers have been pretty busy since the last time we talked, man. Let's start with the good.
Sure.
Patrick Queen, 3 years, 41 million. I don't see how you could have any objection to this signing. This is a really good one for Omar Khan. This kind of solidifies the linebacker spot for them. Probably the best linebacker in free agency. I don't know why they took so long to sign.
I mean, I believe he was considered the best free agent off-ball linebacker available. So, yeah, I was stoked they got him. I mean, I watched a couple different videos of him. Man, dude, he looked really good. Some try to say that he did good because of Raquan Smith, but
Yeah,
I saw this guy run people over and just hit the hole and make a tackle. I just he looked really good in what I saw. So really happy they got him. Uh, some people think they overpaid, but we've
no,
needed
I
an
don't think
inside
so.
linebacker. We've needed an inside linebacker for so long. That's legit. I really don't care if they did or not. To be honest with you, I don't care. To get the top guy, uh, you know,
Yeah.
I'm thrilled about it. I really am.
I've always liked Patrick Queen. I always thought he was a good football player.
Me too.
Listen, they had to freaking solve this inside linebacker position once and for all. It looks like Holcomb's really his injury is worse than we thought. He may or may not be ready for the start of the season. Who knows if he even makes the team at this point?
Yeah, I have no idea.
I think it's all up in the air right now. We got to until we hear
The
what's really
rumors
going
are
on.
all
Yeah,
varying. Some say he was fine come January. Some are saying not so. So at least we know we'll have one legit
yeah.
guy, and
I
he's really
mean,
young. He's
yeah.
he's still young.
He's not even 25 yet, right?
No, I think he's
That's
24.
that's insane, dude. It feels like he's been in the league a long time to be only 25 years old. That's the best part of this because he's still young. He could still be getting better. That's the best part of this whole thing. And 3 for 41 is not bad. I think I can't recall off the top of my head, but didn't
I
Omar
got it.
make
I
this?
got it right here.
Or
It's
didn't
six
he
point one mil cap hit,
the
two
first
point five
year?
mil base salary. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sign
that's
bonus
not
is
bad.
3.8. I mean, really, to get a guy at the top of that position on the free agent market, that's pretty
No,
good.
I don't have any. I mean, would I rather them, you know, try to get Sneed and pay him and then go get a scrum inside linebacker? Yeah, maybe, but it doesn't look like they're going to get Sneed. So we'll take
Yeah.
Patrick Queen and just
We
run with it.
the thing I look at it is we've been talking about how they need to get younger at that position. Like they
Yeah.
got to get young and get a young, like really good linebacker at that position. And it looks like they finally did it. Like I got no complaints whatsoever. Honestly, dude. I mean, you can nitpick some things, but like honestly,
Yeah.
I there's other things down the road we're about to nitpick and criticize. But for this, I just nope, I'm good. I know that is it their record for highest free agent deal or
Yeah,
something
I
like
saw
that. I
Kaboli,
remember.
but
Is that true? I don't even know if
I
that's
don't know. I didn't
true.
even look
Like
it up. I don't think it isn't guaranteed money, but it might be. I don't know. It.
I saw that and I was like, are you trying to be negative about it? I'm like, I don't care. Like
Yeah.
we need this. Like I think it was something important, especially if Holcomb's hurt still and not healed
Yeah.
yet. So
We have to assume he's still hurt, or else they wouldn't have made this kind of
yeah,
commitment to a linebacker. You have to assume it's a bad injury that they're really afraid of. So
we got time though, man. Man, we got
yeah,
lots of time, and that's
yeah, and
what
this
makes me
buys
so
them more
excited.
time. If
Yep.
Holcomb ends up being healthy 3, 4, 6 games in the season, then you get a
Yep.
nice rotation. So it's win-win. Dave, these four linebackers, this might be the best set of linebackers the Steelers have had in a long time. TJ Watt, Roberts, Queen, and Highsmith.
Yeah.
That's pretty freaking good. That's their front seven's pretty. They probably need another defensive tackle just for
Oh,
depth.
dude, this defense. I mean, you count Benton and Cam, and then you go to Minka
Yeah,
and another guy we're gonna come up with here in a second. Deshaun Elliott. I remember correctly.
yep,
Yeah. So we'll get to him
yeah.
too. I'm sure. So go ahead.
Let's pivot to Deshaun Elliott. This one, 2 years, $6 million. He's young. I don't mind this one either.
No,
This is the kind of signing I thought they'd make. I thought they'd do that at linebacker too. They obviously went bigger, but yeah, this is good. I mean,
just to give people an idea, like his rating is 12 points higher than KZ and 13 higher than Keanu Neal. So they
yeah,
definitely upgraded this
this is an
position.
upgrade. 100%.
He's a
100%.
great tackling safety. So the mindset here is that it should help Minka be able to, be a center fielder, be able to be that guy that can pick off a quarterback. He doesn't got to be that third linebacker anymore. Yeah. That's the theory I think they're going with this. I think that's what they're hoping for. And it seems like DeShon Elliott, that's exactly what he is. He's a good tackling safety, and he's not the top guy in, with passing, but at the same time, he's not the worst either. So we're good. I this is definitely an upgrade at the safety position. It's not Simmons. We all would have loved to have had Simmons. I get it, but you get a young guy who's solid for only $3 million per year. I mean, that's pretty good. I'll take it.
I mean, I wanted Simmons too, but there's always thing in the back of my mind. He's 30 years old. How much does he have left in the tank? It's a little bit risky signing him.
Man, you got that radar, man. That 30-year-old radar. You always hone in on that, man. Like, I know this guy's 30 years old or older. I'm a little worried.
Man, NFL's a freaking it's a grind. Once you've been in the league 6-7 years, your best years are behind you. It's just that simple. It doesn't.
The average career for an NFL player is 3 years.
Yeah.
3. I mean,
there are exceptions, but they're few and far between that play well into their 30s. I'm fine with this. DeMonte Casey's still on this roster. It looks like he's going to be on the team next year as the third safety. If they were going to cut
third,
him,
I'm okay. As a third, I'm okay with that.
As depth, they're paying him like 3-something.
I was about to say, I can find it, dude. I got the whole thing right in front of me here. He's pretty far down because I'm not seeing him. So no, he can't be that far.
Like 3.5.
Casey, 3.8.
Yeah, almost 4. That's a lot for backup safety.
Yeah, base salary of 3 with a bonus of $875K. So for a third guy, that might be a little rich.
Yeah.
So they may.
It looks like
they haven't cut him by now. But as a third guy, I'm okay with it.
Yeah. And they re-signed Miles Killebrew. We should mention that. 2 years, 6.5. Again, is $3 million a little pricey for a special teams, or maybe, but he's one of the better ones. He blocked the punt again this year.
It'd be one thing if he was, average, but I mean, he was.
Yeah, he's one of the top of the.
He was one of the top. I mean, last year he was the special teams guy in the league, best one. He had 3 blocked punts?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of his specialties.
How much do you hear of one guy doing that?
Yeah. He's a good player. He's a good special teams player for sure.
Yeah.
If you
need
I'm okay with
it. Only because it's him. If it had been an average guy, I'd been like, what the hell are you doing? But because it's him, I like it.
It just concerns me a little bit that they're chipping away at their salary cap space. You spend $3 million on him. You spend $3 million on a punter. Or $4 million on the punter.
$3 million is $9 million for 3 years, so it's $3 million per punter. But you kind of are right though. Like, it's almost like he's making sure he doesn't lose them. like he wants the deal to get done. Does that make sense? And the reason why I think that is, Dave, is because like they got to win now, like right now. Like they can't fuck around anymore. Like TJ is only getting so much. He's not getting younger. Cam's he's gonna go at any moment, and Minka is gonna get older. So like they got to win now, and I think that's why you're seeing maybe a little bit of an overpay, especially at positions they know has handicapped them in the past, especially punter. That's killed us for years now.
Yeah.
Special teams, we've had issues on special teams for too, but Kilber's been top guy in the league. So to keep him around, okay, need a middle linebacker. We've been hurting since Ryan Shazier for a middle linebacker. We traded up for a guy and he sucked, and now he's a Cleveland Brown. But anyways,
we're gonna bring that up in a
minute. But hey, like, look, they've been trying, and then finally last year we got legit guys, but they all got hurt. And Landon Roberts, God bless him, really stepped up. If not for him, they really, really would have been cooked.
Yeah.
So I get, you're right. I agree. There's been a lot of overpay for a good amount of players, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, I know why they're doing it. It's because they can't afford to lose these guys.
I have another theory too. I think they swung and missed at the center position, and now they're getting kind of desperate to get people in here. I think they wanted Mitch Morse. They didn't get him. They got outbid him. Now all the good centers are off the board, and they're kind of stuck. I think they really misjudged this center crop this year and what the pay was going to be, because
it had an overall effect on everything.
Yeah. And people keep
right.
chirping back at me. They're like, oh, they're going to draft a center. Well, yeah, they have to draft a center now. I think that plan A was to get a free agent. They went after Mitch Morse right off the bat. The first day of free agency, they were bidding on him. So and they didn't get him. And now,
No.
Cushenberry went, and all these other guys went. Now all that's left, really, I was just looking at the list before we went on. It's Connor Williams or bust, and even that, I don't know if I go there because coming off a knee surgery for a center, he's a good player, but again, close to 30, coming off a major injury. You get him dirt cheap, okay, but if you have to spend money on him, I think I just
and
wait to draft.
that's where I'm at. Let's see how if they do get him. Let's see how much it costs. Coming off injury, in theory, it shouldn't cost that much. But he was good though, bro. He did do good.
No, he's a good player.
Hurt. So like, if they would get him cheap, see, personally, I still want to see them draft one too. So I'd go after him. Oh, by the way, in cap, they've got around 25 million still left in cap per Sport Track. So
it's cap space, yeah.
Yeah, on the cap space, so they've got a good amount here. So
yeah, Connor Williams is 31.
It just updated. That's weird. It just updated from 25 to now it says 16. That's really strange, dude. Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Did they?
Well, they might have just updated it because 25 did seem like a little.
But you got to remember, I already refreshed it.
Oh, they signed Montravius Adams, 2-year deal. Live on our. I don't think it took up that much money, but Montravius Adams is back. They needed to do that.
Okay, you don't have the money yet.
I don't have the money. It doesn't say. It can't be much.
It must not be because I'm going down, and I'm not seeing his name here.
Just says a 2-year deal. Doesn't say how much. You're looking at $3 or $4 million at the most for Montravius.
Yeah, man, that was live on the freaking podcast. Like,
yep. When you said the thing adjusted, I went to Twitter to see if they had signed anybody, and they did.
Yeah, but it dropped from 25 to 16. So, like, I hope they didn't pay him big money.
No, there's no way that cost him $8 million a season. There's no way.
Why did it do that? I mean, that's really weird. I don't see him on here. Weird.
Well, yeah, they might not have it. This just happened 4 minutes ago.
Yeah, I just wish I knew why the hell my thing did what it did. It screwed me up. I don't know why it did that. It did say they were 25 mil. They had 25 mil in room. Now it dropped to 16, and I'm not sure why, because I know I had Dante Jackson on here already. I knew I had Patrick Queen on here already, so it's weird that it did that. Huh.
Maybe the contract, they finally got the final details and plugged
it
in there.
and updated it. Yeah. Something. Huh.
And so if they're at 16 and you could probably take 2 or 3 out of that. Yeah, I don't know if we can expect much more out of the Steelers. They still got to sign the draft class and have a little bit of money unless they decide to redo a contract, which is possible.
Man, I'm really hoping they do that.
Oh, all right, let's get to the Dante Jackson trade, the Deontay Johnson trade. I'm down on this trade. I'm down on this trade big time. I don't like it. I don't think they got anywhere near the value. What bugs me the most about this trade, I can live with Dante Jackson. I don't like him, but I can live with him. But getting no cap relief, getting no that $10 million.
Yeah, like
that's so key to me because you can't go out and sign a receiver with that money. You screwed yourself.
So my question is, why would you take on a bad contract on top of letting Deontay Johnson go? You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you take on a bad contract for a guy that's not earning that contract?
Bro, there was rumors that they were going to release him. They were ready to cut him if they couldn't trade him. I heard that twice today on a podcast, and I saw it on.
Did something else happen? We're missing or something. I mean, like,
people are speculating now that DJ was. Now you got to be careful. Now the spin's starting to happen where people are saying he was very bad in the locker room. They couldn't take it anymore. I tweeted this out today. Teams do this all the time after they trade somebody, and it's a questionable trade. They'll start throwing stuff to their guys, saying, "Hey, he was a locker room cancer. He was a pain in the ass." You got to be very careful with that. I don't know, man. This one for me feels like Omar Khan forced this or panicked a little bit. I don't know. Why not just keep him and get a 3rd-round compensation pick and let him walk?
Right.
You're better off that way.
Unless they really thought he was that bad. Like you got to remember, they do hide some stuff. Like there's some stuff we don't know.
Yeah.
This guy got into it with Mitch Trubisky last year. This year, you saying out loud, I hope it's Mason Rudolph. Like, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't do that. the walking away as they fumble the ball, the not blocking, there's so many things. And then, like I said, the locker room stuff. And look, here's the thing: Deontay Johnson's a great receiver. He was a great receiver for them. There are things he did that aggravated the fuck out of us.
Yeah,
don't get me wrong, but at the
he's a
same time, I mean,
super talented guy.
he was and is one of the best route runners in the league. Period.
Yep.
Can't argue that.
Yep.
But man, the baggage and some of the dumb shit he did too on the field. Yeah, man. I mean, and look, I'm not trying to defend the Steelers because trust me, I think it was a stupid ass trade. Yeah, really stupid. Then here's the thing. First thing I said was, you know what? Okay, they cleared up cap space. They probably cleared up a good bit. Then I go and check, and I'm like, what the? They didn't clear up shit. It was like $500K. I was
500K. 500K.
What? I was like, what are you doing here? And then I'm thinking, no wonder the Panthers been so bad because they gave this guy how much money, and he hasn't really been that great.
No, he hasn't. He's never been. I think his highest PFF grade I looked through his career was 74 a couple of years back.
In 2020,
he's never been.
I looked it up too.
Yeah, he's been in the 60s most of his. He's an average. I mean, I texted you as soon as the trade went down. I looked him up. He ran 4.3 at his combine, but that was, I think, it was 6 or 7 years he's been in the league now. So
it's a lot of flash with him, not a lot of consistency. Like he'll make that interception and he's fast as shit, and he's taken it to the house once, but in general, like it's not consistent at all. And he gets picked on a lot.
He's got short arms. He's not what the Steelers look for in corners lately. No. He's the exact opposite, except for the speed. I've heard from listening to a couple podcasts, he's a bad tackler. He's smaller. The one thing I come back to, and I'm almost willing to give Omar a pass on this because I keep hearing that he's one of Tomlin's guys that he liked. And he probably stood on the table and said, get me Donta Jackson. Trade him for Donta Jackson. Bring him in. This has Tomlin written all over it. And I hate to blame Tomlin for everything, but this is Patrick Peterson all over again. He wanted Patrick Peterson in the worst way. He got him, and he stunk. I think Jackson's going to be a little better. He's obviously younger.
Oh, wow. So you think Jackson's going to be better than Pat Pete?
As an outside corner, yeah. I mean,
really?
Patrick Peterson couldn't play.
Because of the speed.
Patrick Peterson couldn't play outside corner.
Yeah, I honestly
not
don't
that I have
know.
high hopes for this guy. I don't,
dude. I don't know. I might end up not liking this guy as much as I didn't like Pat P. To be honest,
it's completely possible.
And God, man, I don't want to be as negative about the guy. It's just that I'm looking at this. I got him right in front of me. I mean, 4 interceptions his rookie year. He had 4 interceptions, right? So you're thinking, okay, my man's got hands. 9 pass defense, a forced fumble. Is next year 3 interceptions. Next year 3 interceptions. Had 110 yards when intercepting the ball and running it back. So he must have got his deal then. And then guess what? 2 interceptions to 0 last year. This guy had 0 interceptions. I don't know if he was hurt. He started 16 games. That's actually a bad thing. He started 16 games, had no interceptions, only had 5 pass defenses. He did have a forced fumble. I'm trying to find something. At 59 combined tackles.
And stop me if you've heard this before. The Panthers played the second most zone in the league last year. So he's a zone corner. Getting stuck into the Steelers. Where do we
really went this route again?
Patrick Peterson. I'm telling you, this has got Tomlin written all over it. And I don't know. This is you've clogged up 10 million. You know what really burned my ass today? Really burned my ass. Kendall Fuller, really good corner, signs for 2 years, 16.5. He's making $2 million a year less than Donta Jackson. I mean, come on.
Yeah, that does kind of anger you a little bit there, doesn't it? You're just like, man, come on. We could have got this dude. I know. I get it. Like I said, I don't like it either, man. I really don't. I'm hoping that they go and nail somebody in free agency, the wide receiver position that is good at least, and then go get one in the draft.
There's nobody out there, Dave. There's no more free agent wide receivers out there. Nobody that's going to make an impact. That position's dried up.
Not a Deontay Johnson impact. We'll put it that way.
No. You can get a Josh Reynolds, and they'll be fine as a 3rd, 4th guy, somebody like that. But you're not getting an impact guy in free agency. They're going to have to draft somebody.
How do you feel about Tyler Boyd?
I'm glad you brought him up. He's
How
in
could I
that.
not? He's getting brought up all
I
over
know.
on
This
X. It's
I'm starting to see
nonstop, and
your
you
point with
know
these
why
pit.
it's
Yeah,
nonstop.
I'm starting to see your point with these pit
And
fans. I'm
but but let me
look.
put this way: I'm okay with it. Like I go ahead, bring him in, but don't overpay.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that's my thing because
He's a better
that's
fit in this system than Deontay Johnson was because he's a bigger guy. He'll block. He'll be a
right.
little bit more physical. He's 29. Had a bad season, but you can kind of excuse that because
Burrow being hurt,
Burrow was out most of the year. So
and Burrow didn't play good the first couple weeks too.
yeah,
On top of being hurt,
so we don't
so
know where
yeah,
he's at that way.
right. But he was a number 3 there and still
Yeah, and that's
produced.
what he is. He's a 3 receiver. You know,
And remember, I was okay with him as the 3 with Deontay. Like I thought,
yeah,
man, put him at
yeah.
3, but Deontay and George, and now we're cooking. I've got his stats right here. Last season he had 667 yards and 67 receptions. So only 2 touchdowns. So
2 touchdowns.
only
Yeah.
2. So now year for that, 5 touchdowns, 762 yards. Year for that, 5 touchdowns, 828 yards. He hasn't had a 1,000-yard season since 2019.
Yeah.
So that's a little concerning. But he's hit about 4 or 5 touchdowns. He had 7 in 2018. So he had, from 22 to 2018, I'd say he had good TD production. But as far as yards goes, he hasn't had a 1,000-yard production since 2019.
Yeah, but when you're on a team with T. Higgins and Jamar
But,
Chase,
right,
the ball,
and that's true too.
The chances are going to be slim at none.
You're with an elite, and you're with a almost elite wide receiver.
Yeah. So
that's,
I don't know.
It's one of those things where bring him in. I'd welcome him, sign him, but do not overpay. It better be a hometown discount, or it better be about where he deserves. Because I'm getting like you. I'm starting to pay attention to the overpays here, and I'm like, if we could stop with overpay for everybody, that'd be good.
I don't know what his market is. 10 million a season.
I don't know
Something
either.
Like that.
That's a good question.
It's a lot of money for number 3.
Ridley got 4
he
years,
might end up being the
92 million.
Huh?
So, I said Ridley got 4 years, 92 million.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Yeah, we'll see. So 92 divided by 4, that's 23 per, bro.
Yeah.
23 per for Ridley.
The Titans
don't get me wrong, Ridley's good, but holy shit,
he's not
that good?
No.
I don't think so. I would put Boyd around, man, dude. If
you use that scale.
They're not
if you use that scale, he's probably worth 15, right?
15. They're not going to pay that. They're not.
No, they don't have it. I don't think they have it to pay anyway.
No, we just said they got 15 mil left to go. They're done.
Yeah. You got to pay for the draft still. You got to pay for rookie free agents, and we know they like to go into the season having 6-7 million in cap space so they can make trades during the season or sign people. They might be done. You might see a couple of minimum guys come through, and maybe he's surprised. We've heard rumors. I think it was AB floated Justin Jefferson trade, and there's all kinds of rumors floating out there. But
I'm not even gonna
acknowledge
that as something real. That guy woke up, probably smoked a blunt, and go, I'll put this on Twitter, and that's really all that was.
I mean, I've seen Ayuk wants to be traded. I would love to see him in Pittsburgh.
Oh man,
can they afford him?
I saw you post that, and I was like, did I miss something? Did they?
Yeah, he's asked. Well, he's in the last year of his deal. He wants a new contract. So, and they're kind of butting heads with that. So
we can't afford that.
Yeah, I mean, you can do things to make his first year cap hit small-ish. So they still might have one. This
goes back to the Deontay trade and not using it to free up cap space.
Yeah.
This is a huge blunder. Look, I love Omar Khan. Love what he's doing, but he made a mistake here. And
you couldn't get him traded for a 4th and save the cap space somewhere.
Right. Like that's my thing. And that's why I'm looking, and we're all just being honest here. I love what he's done. It's just, this was a mistake. This was a huge mistake because if you get rid of that cap space, I would have rather them just gave him straight up for the draft picks.
That's what I mean.
Don't take it on. Don't take it on at all. I'd rather have a 4th round pick. There's so many receivers in this draft.
Yeah.
They
almost have to draft the receiver now. They almost have to. So what are you going to do? Go center.
They might have to go wide receiver the first pick.
1 and center in the 2nd.
Yep. And pray to. And here's the thing: pray to God that Frazier and Pran are there. Van Pran are there in the second round.
Yeah.
Van Pran should be, but Frazier, there's no promises.
Yeah. So say Frazier's gone. Okay, you get Van Pran. He's borderline
right
starter.
He's
and he's going to be your starter.
That's and that's it. Like the rest are, they're gonna take a little while. Like it's a deadly game, and they shouldn't have done this. Like Dave, I almost borderline wish they could have worked it out, or like you said, I just want to trade them for picks and get rid of the money. Like get rid of get rid of that money and have the cap space. I was excited about that. I was like, oh my gosh, this Dante guy, he's not that great. He can't cost that much. And I'm like, what the hell? It's the same. I'm like, what? I'm like, why would you take this on?
And I get it.
If this was Tomlin, this is why some head coaches should not be fucking GMs too. It can't just be, I want this guy, no. You need to look at the money. You need to look at the cap space. You need to look at what this helps you achieve with other players you can get. Now, I don't even know if they can get Boyd because of this stupid trade with Deontay Johnson. That's the problem.
Yeah, like we said, especially when you start adding these guys up. You've got Killebrew at 3 per. You've got Deshaun Elliott at 3 per. You've got, the punter at 3 per. So now that's $9 million.
And it's funny.
And it's necessary. They need the guys, but.
Right. And it's so funny because as we're live right now, I'm actually more pissed off now because of the salary cap updating on me live on this thing. Because at first it said they had 25 mil. And I was like, oh, so they still got some to work with. Then all of a sudden it goes, boop, and it's down to 16. And I'm like, this is not good. Oh, I can't believe.
And I want to go back to the locker room stuff. I mean, maybe it was worse than we thought because, there were a couple times where, Minkah Fitzpatrick, remember his rant, and then Najee Harris was kind of saying certain players in this team don't give it all. Maybe that was all towards Deontay Johnson, and maybe he was a cancer, but still, everyone knew Chase Claypool was a pain in the ass in the clubhouse. They got a first-round pick for him practically. Right. Granted, he's younger and it was a different set of circumstances, but AB was a lunatic. And you got a third and a fifth. Now, granted, he was a lot
third and a fifth.
Deontay,
the only one that they really didn't get a lot for, that they flipped and got a lot for, was the Santonio Holmes trade.
Yeah. But
they flipped it because it was a fifth originally, and they switched with somebody, and then that sixth pick got AB. So it ended up, it was shitty that happened, but they ended up making a positive out of it down the road. But this, man, okay. You got a 6th now, and you're still salary cap strapped with that contract.
Yeah, and this is, I keep hearing this is the one of the, it's not one of the deepest drafts in a long time. A lot of people are saying 6th, 7th round picks ain't worth anything because this draft is terrible after the 3rd, 4th round. I've heard that several times now. So any extra 6th and 7th round picks you're going to get, it's like, I don't know. This one.
Yeah, dude, trust me. When I looked at Dante Jackson's rating and saw 64.3, I went, ugh. I'm like, what? I'm like, that's okay. That's not that great. I was hoping to see a 70 or better, and I didn't see it. And I'm like, what in the world? So then I just started going back, and I'm seeing all these grades, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, 55 and 22. That's horrendous. 60 back to 61 in 2021, and then I got to 2020, and he was 70.4 then.
That was his best one, right?
Yeah,
after that,
I think so. I'll go to 2018 because I thought that he did really good that season. Only a 65. So even the season where he had the most interceptions for his career, and we can go to 2019 just to be 100% sure, it's 55. So like it's been 4 years, man. Yeah, and that's the best. That's the ceiling. Yeah. Now, do you move him to the slot and maybe now you're cooking?
Well, that's been brought up too, but he hasn't played a lot of slot in his career. I guess you could try it.
Well, guess what? Time to give it a shot.
I thought we weren't doing this, Dave. I thought we weren't moving the people around positions.
Oh, no, we're doing this. We're doing this now. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. Hey, look, if he ends up being the slot and they go out and get Snead, all right, I'm right back in, but that's not happening. I don't think it's happening.
I was going to say that ship sailed too. So I
mean, Snead's still out there in the trade market, but what are you going to give up for him now? And how are you going to pay him?
I don't want him to give up anything now. Don't even do it. Don't even just stop. Like, you can't. You can't even afford it. They can't.
I started drinking the Kool-Aid, Dave. I thought, all right, they went cheap on quarterback with what's his name?
Russell
So
Wilson.
Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
So we're good there. Now they're going to build an elite defense with the rest of the cap space there. They're just going to go out and get Snead and going to go out. And they started to, getting Patrick Queen. That was a step. And I'm like, okay. But now this. Now your secondary's compromised now again.
So I'm going to throw us out there, and I could be completely wrong. I don't know. Is there a chance that the Panther defense was so bad that it hurt him too? Like he had to overcompensate for things, and maybe that's why he just. Have you seen that out there at all? Like, and look, I'm clinging to like.
But it's
I'm
a
hanging
possibility.
by a thread here, trying to find something out of it. But like that's the only thing I can.
They were a bad team. They were the worst team in football last year, so you could make that point.
So like, is that what it was? Like there was a lot of, and maybe Tomlin and them know that, and they know getting him on an elite defense or a good defense, we'll say, or great defense that now they'll be cooking. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. I could be dead wrong. I mean,
other than and this
do they know something we don't know? That's what I'm saying. Like,
well,
you just took on $10.5 million for a guy that
Mike Tomlin thinks he knows something that we don't know, but
and maybe he does.
Before.
I hope he's right.
He's been wrong before.
That'd be great if this guy,
And this, Dave, we should mention too that there's some rumors that we still don't know all the details. That maybe Omar Khan's going to have Carolina eat some of his salary, or he's going to extend him and shrink that cap number this year down to a real small number.
Tremendous.
That's that's TBD. If they end up doing that, I still don't like it, but at least it's better than a $10 million cap hit for this year on a corner that.
Well, between you and I, I'm hoping, and the universe, but I'm hoping that they can get this Williams guy cheap.
Connor Williams, yeah.
I'm hoping that they can get him. I really don't want to just go into the season with a rookie. Like I get it, but like not everybody's Marquise Pouncey, Yeah. But to me, I think JPJ could. Like I told you, I think he's a perennial Pro Bowler. Guy. Yeah. For the next decade. Zach Frazier's another one. All the WU stuff aside, he is a really good center.
No, yeah,
some think he's actually going to be better than JPJ, and I was like, "Wow, really?" Like I said, I'm not biased at all. I really thought JPJ was, the cat's meow, if you will. Yeah. So just to hear that, I'm like, okay, if they can get one of them too, great. But what if? You know what I mean, man? The what ifs really scare me. So I would at least like to see him get Williams, and then let the draft, let the dominoes fall how they may.
I can't see them going into the draft without signing at least somebody to be a veteran.
Yeah.
Because what happened, like we just talked about, what happens if they miss? The shit happens in the draft. You can think, well, JPJ will be there at 20 and he's not. And then like, all right, we'll wait till the second for Frazier. And all of a sudden he's not there. And then you're like, all right, wait for the third for Van Pran. And then next thing you know, you don't have anybody. So they got to have at least one veteran in the building. Who is going to be at this point? Like,
we're going to get to the fourth round. And they draft a guard who can play center too. And they're going to be like, no. I'm going to die.
Oh, don't speak it into existence, man.
If they fucking do it again.
So, yeah, I don't know. Obviously, we're both on the same page. I thought actually you liked it a little bit more than me. I'm glad to hear that you're kind of on my wavelength.
With this trade?
Yeah.
I was fine until the salary cap stuff and the pricing. Like I was like, what?
Maybe I got my hopes up too high.
You're paying the same price here, man. What the fuck are you doing?
I thought they were dangling Deontay Johnson for Snead. I really did think they were. And evidently they were talking to Kansas City, but I guess
they said no. They didn't want to give him to a rival. Look, I don't blame them. As if the Chiefs needs another fucking weapon.
I know.
They don't even have. Look, this is how crazy this is. They let Tyreek Hill go and proceeded to win 2 more Super Bowls without a wide receiver at that level. That's incredible, man.
And they're keeping Chris Jones, and it looks like they're going to keep Snead, and they're paying, Patrick Mahomes a gazillion dollars. This is what my problem is with the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're spending, Dave, $5 million total in the quarterback position right now. And we're scraping by now. Now we're out of cap money with no franchise quarterback. Every other team without a franchise quarterback has $50-60 million to spend. And we got the con artist, the cap specialist. and we're freaking up against the cap. I get it. We got TJ Watt. You got to pay him. Well, clearly, we're overpaying Cam Hayward at this point.
Yeah.
All the money's locked in the defense. You're paying Minka top dollar for safety.
Well,
You paid Highsmith.
I know. We just got to see if he does some restructures, and he might. They might be coming.
So. Kind of, we talked about it last weekend. I'd hope they don't have to, because then you're looking at dead money with Cam Hayward if he can't play. It's like dead money.
If they can go get Williams and get Boyd, then I'll feel okay going into the draft. I'll put it that way. If they can if they can get both, I don't think they can though. I think Boyd's going to want over 12 mil per. I think. I mean, unless he wants it to be a backloaded contract,
which is a possibility
to help them out right now. They could ask that and be like, "Hey, how about right now? It's not as much, but it's backloaded where you get more next year, the year after." Because that's the only thing I can think of.
Spotrac's market value for Connor Williams, just for shits and giggles.
Yeah, no, it's probably
you're not going to want to see this.
Oh no, really?
13.5 per season. They're projecting.
Yeah, that's a wrap. That's a wrap.
Now again, Spotrac is not always. Their numbers are ridiculous sometimes. So I don't know if we can. This guy's. Is he 26? No, that can't be. He's not 26.
Yeah, that's tough.
He's 31, right? Didn't I just see it? He's 31. 13.5. They're out of it.
Dude, Deshaun Elliott's contract's not even on her yet, and it has them only 15 mil left in cap. Oh. That's really not good. You hear me?
Yeah, I heard you. It's not.
This is not good. Yikes. Yeah, let me hit refresh again. Let's see if this is new again. What do we got here? Yikes, dude. Yeah, I don't know, man. This is
Connor Williams is only 26. I thought he was a lot older than that. So that's not bad then. I was coming off an injury, but
I thought he was like 30.
I thought he was too, but I just looked it up on Google. He's only 26 years old.
All right, well.
That sound right?
They're going to have to choose then. They're going to have to be like Boyd or Williams because they can't afford both. So
he's drafted in 2018. Yeah, so he's only been in the league 6 years. So I guess it's possible.
Yeah, they might want to redo that contract with Dante Jackson like real quick.
Yeah. Anything else on this trade? As far as Deontay Johnson goes, he couldn't have landed in a worse spot too. That team is just so bad. The quarterback situation,
Oh, you mean for Deontay?
Yeah, he's not going to find.
It's a shit show. Like I good luck.
Don't sign an extension there. If he's an idiot if he signs an extension. Get to free agency and go pick your team. Don't do it to yourself again. I mean, money talks, but
I was gonna say, what else? He'll do it.
Yeah, they will. They definitely will. Do you think this takes them out of drafting a corner in the first couple rounds, or do they still draft a corner even though they haven't?
If they do, it'll be later.
I mean, I think they draft a corner later. There's so many good corners in this draft too. That's the other thing.
The priority right now has to be O-line and wide receiver. Now it has to be. They're really banking on this, Dave, with Dante Jackson.
Yeah. I agree with you. That's the final nail in the coffin for this trade. With such a deep draft at that corner, what are you doing trading for a corner? What are you doing?
I
mean, seriously.
I don't know. We'll see. I mean, look, this guy could come out and because he's got so many, good players around him, do really well, and maybe they prove it wrong. And I hope they do. I hope they prove
I hope so too, but
completely wrong. And he's worth the money.
About it.
I hope he's worth every penny. But man,
I really think the first off season for Omar was, I don't want to say easy, but things kind of fell into place for him. Patrick Peterson was available, just grabbed him. They targeted Seumalo, that was an Eagles guy, so they knew him really well, got him. They had the 2 picks in the first round practically, and Joey Porter Jr. was just sitting there. Kudos to them for not trading the pick, but I mean, he was there. Not to take anything away, he had a good draft, but I think this year it's been harder. I think the center position got away from him. I think this trade got away from him a little bit, and he's having like a sophomore jinx, a sophomore, slump. Second year out.
I'm not quite there yet. Like I think he did really well with the Russell Wilson thing. Again, lucky because the guy
that fell in his lap too, though, right?
He got paid $39 million without even us needing to give it to him, so that's nice. But he went and did it though. That was my thing. He went. He's taking a shot with this. He's not
Yeah.
being the whole. Oh no, it's going to be Kenny Pickett. You know the whole. And that's the difference between him and Colbert. We're not going to rot with Kenny. He actually went out and got a guy, and he didn't have to do that.
You don't think Colbert would have gone and get?
Oh my God, no! Are you kidding me? He drafted Kenny Pickett. That's his guy.
Yeah, but still,
he would not, dude. You know it, and are we really going to argue about this?
I don't know.
You know, and I know. Devin Bush, ring a bell? Rotted with that man.
Oh,
2-3 years after he came back and sucked.
Well, that's still not fair because he got injured and they had to wait for him to come back and see if he could play, and then he couldn't.
Horrendous. Anyways, he always held on to guys way longer than he needed to. He always did, and I thought we were going to do that too. I thought we were going to do it now, but Khan didn't do it. He went and got a guy.
You can't give Omar Khan credit for this.
You and I this was almost too easy. We worry they're going to stay with Kenny. It's going to be Kenny Mason and some no name. You and I both said that's what was going to happen.
Well, yeah, but that was before we really had all the details on how much.
It don't matter. He didn't do it. He didn't do it, Dave. He went and got a legit guy.
He fell in his lap, dude. But Russell Wilson had no other options. You didn't have to pay him. He's a veteran guy. It's like it's a gift from heaven.
They would never do it. They would never do it.
Dave,
has Colbert ever done that? Did Colbert ever do that in his career? Now, mind you, he had Roethlisberger for
you don't know. We don't know because he drafted a quarterback.
Roethlisberger, he had what? Cordell. He had Maddox.
No, he wasn't there for all that. Well, he was there for a couple years before.
He was there for Maddox.
Yeah,
I can't remember if he's Cordell though.
No, I don't think he was with Cordell. That was
He was with the team in 01 or was 03?
I think it was 2000. He took over the team.
Then he was there for the Cordell.
Was Cordell there?
Yeah. 01 was when Cordell and them were one win away and the Patriots cheated. How could I forget?
Let me double check that. But anyway, I can't see.
Kevin Colbert's guys, they're getting a third year. There's no doubt in my mind they're getting a third year.
Yeah, he took over in 2000. That was right, 2000.
So we stuck with Cordell. We did Maddox for 2 years.
That was pretty good. I mean,
what? I mean, he was. Don't get me wrong.
He was pretty good.
No. Okay, so let's back this up a little bit. He was good in 2001. He was really good in 2001. But besides that, his other years, he wasn't as accurate. Don't get me wrong, he was ahead of his time. But his biggest issue was he wasn't accurate enough.
And Maddox was pretty good too. Neither one of them were great.
Maddox's first season when he came in for Cordell and was better than Cordell. That's my whole point with Cordell. Maddox came in and took over, never looked back. But then he was horrendous his last season. That's why they went 6-10, luckily, and we got Roethlisberger. But in general, he did sit around and stay with guys like Cordell even after the 2001 season because of that. He let them rot when you could tell they needed to upgrade. And it's not all his fault either. I'll even give Kevin Colbert an out. Cowher was an issue too.
Yeah.
Cowher had the mindset.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing with Tomlin too.
Well, okay, there you go. So
don't forget.
Is it the GM's fault then? Now here we go. So is he?
Well,
really I said
earlier that I would almost give Khan a pass on this Dante Jackson thing because I think it's Tomlin in the background.
I don't see, and that's the thing. I don't want to give him a pass on this because of the cap. If it was Tomlin, we don't know the conversations, but
yeah, we don't.
Jesus, someone had to be like, "Hello, we're not even getting cap relief with this. Like, what are you doing?"
I'll bring up one more point. Don't forget, Kevin Colbert was the one that wanted to get rid of Ben Roethlisberger before anybody else, and Ben even said that in his interview that Kevin wanted to get rid of me, but Mike and Art wanted to keep me around for one more season. So you could say he lets people rot, but he saw the writing on the wall with Ben, and he wanted to move on, and he got vetoed by.
And can you imagine if they'd have listened?
Right? Instead of waiting till this, what's his name had a post of how bad the quarterbacks in that draft have been. It's been ridiculous.
Oh, did you see that?
Yeah.
Whew, it's horrendous.
And everyone knew it. Everyone was saying going into that draft, this is the worst quarterback draft in years. And the Steelers had their guy. It was, a Pitt guy. We know him. He's right in the same building. We know what he can do. Blah, the intangibles, blah, blah, blah. Is Kevin Colbert possibly blamed for that? Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a Tomlin Rooney that's a team decision. They love those pit guys. They love, Kenny's around the building. I don't know, man. If they had gone 1 year earlier, that was the Justin Herbert draft, wasn't it? The year earlier?
I think so. And that's been the biggest issue too, Dave, is they always time it at the most horrible times. They zigged, everybody zag, and it doesn't work out. So, but to me, getting Russ Wilson was a sign of not doing the norm. Their norm would be, we drafted Kenny Pickett. He's going to get his third year. And they made everybody think that's what was going to happen. You know, and I know when he went, Kenny Pickett, we believe in Kenny Pickett. Con said it, Mike said it, Art said it.
Yeah,
we all went, oh boy, they're saying it, they're telling us he's the guy. But when Con said, but there's going to be competition, I thought they meant, you said this too. We thought they meant, Mason and the 6th round guy they draft. And they didn't do that. Con legit brought in a guy, 9-time Pro Bowler, 9-time Pro Bowler, Super Bowl winning quarterback.
No, I'm not going to argue his resume. I'm going to argue it just made too much sense. They could not possibly pass up on it.
So we can pivot back to Tomlin because we know they fell in love with each other.
That's probably more.
It's a love story. They're going to have a movie out. It's in Hollywood production next year. But yeah,
I'm not giving Omar Khan any of the credit for signing.
Oh, wait a second here. Time out. So now he gets no credit for any of this?
No, just for the Russell Wilson. Just Russell Wilson specifically. I'm not giving him any credit for that because this is
as far as luck of him falling in his. Yes, I agree there. I do agree. You're right. He got lucky. This situation could happen. I'm just saying he took the chance and did it instead of taking
a chance. This is like,
yes, there is, because they decided not to stick with Kenny Pickett when they are usually.
We're assuming that they're going to give it to.
Okay, so
watch how hard it's going to be for Russell Wilson to get this starting
competition
job.
Thing. Okay,
it still is, Dave. It still is. You don't think so? You think it's?
I don't. I don't.
I mean, do you? Let's get specific. Do you think Kenny Pickett has no chance to win this, or do you think the Steelers are not going to give him a chance? There's two different things. I don't think he's as good as Russell Wilson. I don't think he can win the job, but I think the Steelers are going to do everything in their power to give Kenny Pickett a chance to win this job.
I don't think he's good enough to outdo Russell Wilson.
No, I don't either. But I think they're going to.
But that's perfect for the Steelers, though. That's perfect for this. They can be like, hey, we're going to do a competition, but they know he can't win it. So it's like they win either way.
Yeah.
They can be like, see, we were fair to Kenny, but he's just not good enough. It's one of them things. But I
really wonder how they are on Kenny Pickett. I don't know. I think this Russell Wilson thing was just too easy. They'd have been morons not to sign him. Honestly, it's just too easy.
I'm just saying this isn't like them to go get. And I'll put this in perspective. 1, they went and did that with Russell Wilson. 2, they just paid the most money guaranteed to a linebacker. They don't do that ever with any kind of guy, right? Those are 2 things right there that are very different than what we've been used to with the Steelers.
I definitely think there was a change of philosophy.
That's what I'm saying.
The last couple of years.
Omar Khan
I don't know
and
if
Andy
that's
Weidl
Colbert or if it's just.
Oh, ask me this question. Have we ever had 2 years in a row where we've had this much fun as fans in the offseason? Ever in the history of Steelers, have we ever had back-to-back off seasons where we had this much crazy shit to talk about? You know the answer to that, and so do I.
Yeah, I do. But I can push back and say, well, the teams were set up to win before the off seasons. They didn't have to go crazy. They had Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, Ben Roethlisberger, all these guys. They didn't have to go and make major moves every offseason because the team was set. They drafted well and the team was set.
In a way, you're right. But at the same time, he made several freaking moves last year. And now instead of making several moves, he's making a couple big moves. One's a mistake. We've just talked about that for the last half hour. Anyways, but he's making big moves. It's not a lot of little ones, but it's a couple, like 3 or 4 big ones. And you can argue which ones are good or bad or whatever. But it's definitely a change of philosophy. This feels Eagles-esque, if you will. Not full go.
Yeah,
not full go. Not full go. But this is the most we've seen close to it. I haven't seen any.
Isn't it? Isn't it out
because
of
so and
desperation though, Dave?
again, no,
It's desperation because the roster kind of fell apart.
I think it's the Andy Weidel effect. I really do. I
Um,
really think they
maybe.
took the salary cap guy and the scout guy and they put them together. And I mean, together they are just. I mean, really, have really changed things for the Steelers. I really do. I besides Tomlin's influence of what he wants,
Well, that's the fly in the ointment, right?
right?
I mean, I'm not as impressed with Khan as you are. I'm not. I think the jury's still out on him. I think he had a good first year, but even some of the guys he signed, I mean, he traded for Allen Robinson. That was a waste.
Yeah,
He
I
signed
didn't
Patrick
understand that either.
Peterson. That was kind of a waste.
It
Sayamalu
ended
was a
up
hit.
being a waste. You were hoping there was still some left with him, but
Yeah.
whatever.
Sayamalu was a hit. Good signing. Absolutely. Who am I missing? He had
Holcomb. I mean, what do you do with
Holcomb.
that? Do you say because he injured, that's a bad signing? I mean, they signed him to what 2 or 3 years, something
I
like
have a hard time criticizing them for that because I want them to take swings like that. So I
right.
can't be on both sides of the fence. But
That's how I am. I don't know how you rate that.
yeah,
I
it's
mean,
hard to Holcomb
because
one's
he was
hard because when he was
starting to
healthy, he was
do really
playing well.
good,
Yeah, he did play
so
well.
it's tough.
I won't hold that one against them because I like that kind of move, even though you have to know if you're going to take those kind of swings, sometimes you're going to miss. It's just going to go bad. That's the way it happens with injured players. That's why you can knock Kevin Colbert for that. He didn't like going for older. They never signed a free agent over 30 the whole time. I'm pretty sure the whole time he was there of any significance anyway. And he didn't go after injured players, and that would drive me crazy sometimes. If I'm going to be totally honest, I think they were too risk averse under Kevin Colbert. They didn't take a lot of chances.
Oh, that's another one of my. That's
They
the reason why this is different. It just feels so different. The draft. I mean, Darnell Washington is a guy that was injured.
yeah,
Corey Trice, a guy that was injured. They don't take
yeah,
those chances under Kevin Colbert, bro. They
no,
just don't.
but
But the Steelers did. It it
and they're
worked
batting
out
about
with one
500 with it now,
right.
right?
But 500's better than to never try it and it not work out. Can you imagine if
Yeah,
Corey Trice doesn't get hurt and he does end up being a CB2? Holy shit. The
yeah,
value in
but
that being a seventh round pick. Now, mind you, it didn't happen. I get it. But if he comes back this season and does well, stays healthy, it's still a seventh round pick, Dave.
yeah,
For
it's a
four
seventh round pick. I
years,
don't have a problem with that
that
one.
value is through the roof because if he is good enough. So we'll see. I don't know, but um, I think the philosophy has changed under Khan. I really think it does. But I credit Andy Weidel. That's the only thing I want you to understand with me. I give a lot of credit to Khan. He's doing really well, but I also want to give credit to Andy Weidel because I think they together did combine to change a little bit of that philosophy of the Steelers. This is not Steeler-esque, dude. It is not. This is not.
Yeah, it's been different, but I think it's been different out of desperation because, and you could blame Kevin Colbert for this a little bit too. The roster kind of started to fall apart a little bit. The offensive line was in
Well,
shambles.
I don't think it's that.
Um,
I think it's the fact they know that their guys,
they lost
TJ,
Ben
Minka.
Roethlisberger.
Well, I think they just know they're running out of time with TJ, Cam, and Minka. That's where I think this is motivated from because those are the guys, man. Those are their elite MVP guys, and the clock is ticking.
Yeah, well, I was going to say Kevin Colbert never had. Well, I guess he was part of it, but they're under some serious pressure to win a playoff game. It's been a long
That
time.
too.
It's been
Yep.
a long time,
No, that's a good
and
point
they're
too.
all under pressure. And Rooney said it in his press conference. He's tired of not winning in playoffs. So yeah, that kind of makes them make bold moves because they know they like you said they've only got a few more years with T.J. Watt and Minka Fitzpatrick before they got to start all over again. Yeah, there's a lot of factors. I mean, Kevin Colbert had his way. It was slow, steady, build through the draft. Don't take chances. Eh, 2 Super Bowls, plenty of
Hey,
playoff appearances.
real quick, Greg Holt on here said, imagine if they drafted Landon Dickerson a few years ago when he was an injury risk. Dude is a pro bowler guard for the Eagles who would have been the same for us at center.
I mean, I was the loudest voice for them to take someone like Landon Dickerson instead of Najee Harris. I've been
Yeah.
since that draft. I've been
That whole
banging the
that
walls.
draft of drafting Najee Harris and then going with Muth instead of not getting that O line Yeah,
They,
just a
I'm convinced,
terrible
and you can't tell
move.
me any different. They took shortcuts to try to win one more Super Bowl with
It did.
Ben. They thought, well, let's get a running game. We'll draft a running back. We'll piece together the line, and we'll win a Super Bowl one more time with him. We'll get him a tight end.
Your guy, Kevin Colbert, said that Kendrick Green.
No. Mike
That was your
Tomlin
guy.
said it. Mike Tomlin said
so
it.
did Colbert said it too. Colbert said it too.
No,
He
I don't
said
think
it.
he did.
He did.
That quote was directly from Tomlin.
I'm telling you, your guy was all about it too. All about it.
I don't think
Gave
so.
him number 53 and called it a day.
Well, that's sacrilegious. I don't even know what that. I don't know. They tried to take shortcuts
They
to
did.
win the Super Bowl.
They did.
And they're still paying for it.
Your guy. I'm just saying, Khan is doing stuff differently than we're accustomed to. I don't even know how you can argue it, Dave. You can't argue it.
Yeah,
they added more. The last two off seasons have been insane compared to my existence. Basically, I don't ever remember this. I don't remember this. Now, mind you, I was born in the '80s. When I started paying attention to like football to know what I'm talking, like the '90s, I didn't see this shit. 2000s, I didn't see them do this kind of stuff. And the teens, and then now, I not till now, I've seen this off season. Every off season, we are just like, what a snoozer.
Well, Dave, again,
Steelers do something.
When your roster has Ben Roethlisberger, Antonio Brown, Troy Polamalu, you don't need to go fireworks in the offseason. You're set. You're a Super Bowl contender.
You sure about that? Let me ask you a question. How many Super Bowls did the Killer B era win?
Well,
none. And you want to know why? You want to know why?
Tell me.
You can.
Yeah,
you
I
can
know.
bring
the
up,
head coach.
No. We'll get to that. You can bring up the Killer Bees, and that's the reason why they didn't have to go. How about that defense? That defense was just so great through the Killer Bee era.
That's definitely on the coach. That defense had Ryan Shazier, Lawrence Timmons, Troy Polamalu. That thing was loaded.
I am talking pre Ryan Shazier, and then after Ryan Shazier. What?
I'm not following you.
You talking about after the? I'm talking about not getting secure linebackers after Shazier's injury. They went out and grabbed guys that were horrendous. And then before Shazier, they had guys that weren't that great.
No, they had good linebackers before
They
Shazier.
drafted Artie Burns. They drafted Sean, I forget his last name.
Sean Davis.
Dude, it was horrendous.
Who else was in that draft? Who else was in that draft?
I'm trying to remember.
Defensive tackle that's with San Francisco.
What I'm saying is, though, is that this guy we got now, Khan, is cutting them the day after the Super Bowl. Some of these guys are getting cut right now. Gone.
They're terrible signings.
Kevin Colbert did not do that. He didn't cut anybody. He stayed with them forever. And then on top of that, he didn't go out in free agency and go grab a big guy, a top guy. He did not do it.
And don't forget, too, Dave, they had Ben Roethlisberger's contract that whole time, taking up giant pots of the salary cap.
And that's not a bad point. That's not a bad point. But they couldn't go get one big guy to fill out a linebacker or corner. We had, what was that, Cody Sensabaugh in the playoffs the one season?
Well, that was after injuries. I mean, this is the same thing as they went with this year with all these guys they went to the playoffs with this year.
I try to forget these guys because it was bad, but it was bad. Like, it was really bad. And they ran with that. It was like, are you crazy? No,
Kevin Colbert spent his entire
don't get me wrong.
Career
there are some of those our defense was good enough to where we shouldn't have gave up 42 points or 45 points to the Jaguars.
Some of those
that was coached.
Those years.
I don't disagree with you at all. But those teams never went and got big time players or never went and spent
was good enough to win Super Bowls.
A guy.
Their teams would have died for the talent that the Steelers had.
On offense, yes. On defense,
on both sides of the ball too. You had Vince Williams. There was talent there. Don't forget, they weren't winning when Ryan Shazier was there either. When Ryan Shazier was in his prime, they were still getting their asses kicked. Ryan Shazier was on a team when they lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars in the playoff game.
But the surrounding guys around him were horrendous. All those guys, that secondary was horrible.
Cam Hayward was on that team. Stephon Tuitt was on that team.
That's the D-line. D-line again. Yes, I understand.
There's talent on that team.
I understand. And Blake Bortles threw on them like he was Joe Montana in the 90s because they never went and got legit guys in that defensive backfield. They never did it. If this was Khan, he'd have went and got a guy. And look, I'm not sitting here ready
I
to
don't know
say
about
this
that.
guy. No. My whole point in all this, I'm not trying to say that Khan's better or none of that. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that he is definitely different than Kevin Colbert. This is a different era of Stillers, like what do you want to call it, era or off seasons or whatever. It is completely different. They never would have went and got Russell Wilson. They'd have gave Kenny his 3
I
years.
disagree with that completely.
Okay.
I disagree with that
Anyways,
completely.
they'd have gave him his 3 years. 2, they'd have never went and spent that much guaranteed money on an inside linebacker like they did. They broke the record. Kaboli said it. They broke the record for most guaranteed money to a off-season acquisition. I mean, what more than those two things right there do you need? Now, mind you, I get it.
Russell Colbert liked to do it during the draft. He liked to go out and get a Ryan Shazier rather than go sign a guy.
And maybe that's the core difference. They always would build through the draft, but that's been the Steelers' way for forever. But maybe we're seeing different things here now. Maybe it's not just a draft. They are going to go get guys, and they need to. It just, you can't keep. We don't have time. We don't have time for them to build through the draft and hope that's the only way. That's what I think Khan sees. Mike Tomlin sees. Andy Weidel probably came in there and said, "What are you guys doing? Like, this is how teams do this now. You got to go get guys. You can't just do it through the draft. You're waiting too long." Again, why they didn't give Kenny his third year? Well, we'll see. It's a competition. Here, it's a competition. There you go.
I mean, okay, I'll give you Patrick Queen. But then again, if you look at what he's done in this offseason, he signed an inside linebacker, which teams don't really do much anymore. I mean, it's not that prized position it was 10 years ago. Well, it's not as important.
Have you seen these tight ends and slot wide receivers nowadays? Like, you sure about this?
Yeah, most teams take the linebacker off the field and use an extra safety.
Good luck against Travis Kelce.
Yeah, well, the linebacker safety, no one's covering him. That's you're screwed either way. So they've signed a linebacker. They've signed a punter.
It's kind of a big deal.
Signed, I don't know where the fireworks you're seeing this offseason. They made a bad trade. They signed a linebacker. They signed a punter. And they had a quarterback fall out of the sky into their laps. I mean, I'm not seeing this.
They had a quarterback fall out of the sky that was considered to have issues that the Steelers usually don't deal with. That's the funny part about it for me. There was baggage.
He doesn't have baggage. He's just arrogant. He's never broken the law or been in drugs or anything like that.
He has a team paying him $39 million not to play for them.
Well, that might tell you something.
I'm just right. But but the Steelers don't usually deal with that. They don't do it. That's my point. They don't deal with that usually. We just shipped a guy off for nothing.
We don't know because Ben Roethlisberger was here for so long. We don't know what Kevin Colbert would have done. He was here for 20 years. I mean,
I know what he had done. He drafted his guy Kenny, and he was going to live and die on that hill with him. I'm telling you right now, there would be none of this Russell Wilson stuff. When they told us, Kenny, we believe in Kenny, they would have meant it, and we'd have seen it. I'm telling you, there ain't no doubt in my mind. None.
Yeah, I don't agree with that at all. It's just too easy. It's just too easy. You get a guy you don't have to pay, and you need a backup quarterback or a starter, depending on how you're looking at it. So where is the downside? We talked about it forever. They have to. The only thing
I can think of with Kevin Colbert, but this was really a Tomlin thing though too, was Joe Hayden.
That wasn't a Tomlin thing. That's another one that I don't even give you any. I don't give him either one of them credit for that.
I thought Tomlin met with Hayden down in the Carolinas or something. Didn't he?
Joe Hayden fell into their lap. He's just like Russell Wilson.
But
that just fell into their lap.
But he met Tomlin down in North Carolina.
Oh, we know Tomlin's the closer. Right. You want to get somebody, you send Tomlin to go get him.
To Kevin Colbert's credit, they went and they snagged him. They got him.
That's right. I forgot about that. They had Joe Hayden and Steven Nelson for a while, and they couldn't stop anybody.
But in the first year, they did good. In the first year, Steven Nelson did good. I don't know if you remember or not. I know it's
he did a good season.
It's always whatever. What did you do for me lately?
No, he had a good season. He had a good season.
His first season with Steelers, he did really well. But him and Joe Hayden both were doing well, and that's when you were like, "Wow, we got something." This has been my problem with Tomlin from the beginning. There are coaches that would have died to have the kind of talent he had over the last 10 years. Yeah.
I want to say from 2017 to 2010. The talent on that team was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Pro Bowler after Pro Bowler. You're talking Pouncey, DeCastro.
I would go even further from 07 to.
Yeah.
You got to remember, they
And
won the Super Bowl in 09. They almost did it again in 2011, right? I mean, shit. So, yeah, he's had that talent now
teams.
for a lot of time. I think Tomlin's greatest failure is the Killer B era, not getting that
absolutely
ring during that era.
100%.
I just
it's a tremendous waste of talent. Tremendous.
But I just no, I'm sorry. There's been a shift in the way they do things, and I think it's evident with the Russell Wilson and the Patrick Queen thing. And I'll tell you this, I was more excited about this season with DJ on the team.
Yeah, me too.
And now that he's gone, I feel like there's just this emptiness. There's too much of a hole now, you know?
You didn't solve you've weakened your wide receiver spot, and you didn't solve your cornerback spot.
Right.
And you've capped yourself out where you can't really go and do much more.
But I worry they think they did solve it.
Yeah, I'm sure in their minds they do.
That's where I'm worried. So my excitement's lower. Just so we're clear here, my excitement's lower than it was 5 days ago. We'll put it that way.
Yeah, mine too.
They better,
because it's not just he's not a great corner, but you lost a receiver and you lost cap space and you got a mid corner. That's 3 strikes on that trade.
So and
I was listening to John Ledger the other day, and he's like, well, you got to temper your expectations. They're never going to win the Super Bowl. So try to build the best team you can this year and then hope to get a quarterback next year. But I don't really necessarily agree with that, because I want them to take a shot with Russell Wilson. I want to see if this can work out.
Yeah. See, I don't understand.
I don't think this season's not a throwaway season for me. Now, we still have to wait to see. There's more to come.
Well, I just, when I hear shit like that, it pisses me off, because it's like, time out. Last time I checked, Russell Wilson is the same age basically as he just got the huge He just got the huge deal. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank.
Kirk Cousins.
Yeah. Kirk Cousins just got a $40 million per deal, $45 million per deal at the same age.
Yeah.
And has 0 rings to Russell Wilson's 1, should be 2. So this whole mindset that, they're not really going to win, or they're not doing it with Russell Wilson. Bullshit.
I'm higher on Russell Wilson than he is.
Yeah. And when I look at this division,
I think a lot of people.
When I look at this division and I hear Lamar Jackson, Burrows, and then you get to Deshaun Watson, we can debate that, whatever. And then I hear Kenny Pickett, I'm like, yeah, we're not going to do shit. But when I hear Russell Wilson in that group, I feel a little better.
Oh, yeah, you definitely feel better than Kenny Pickett. There's no doubt.
So to say they're just not going for it is also bullshit for the second reason. And that is 3 names: Minkah Fitzpatrick, TJ, and Cam. If you got those 3, you're trying. Yeah. I don't know how you could slice it any other way. So you build around them. They went and got a quarterback that, like you said, and I agree, fell into their lap. They're trying to do something. They're trying to win now. So
yeah, I think there's a lot of pressure to win a playoff game.
I hate that they're not going to win it this year. Just shut up. That's not true.
He's down on Russell Wilson, and he doesn't think they can win.
And I gave you 20 minutes worth last podcast of why this was an upgrade, big time.
I'm with you on the upgrade part. I'm totally with you on that. All right, let's wrap this up. A couple of little things. Mason Rudolph signed with the Titans. Good for him. He can compete with Will Levis. Maybe he gets to start early on, maybe not.
Yeah, it's going to be a strange thing.
Armon Watts signed with the Patriots. That was kind of a low-key guy I thought they would want back. But
PFF's golden boy for the Steelers. Oh, no.
I'll tell you what is going to be a problem. The Ravens signing Derrick Henry. I've seen some people kind of downplay this. Like, Derrick Henry's old, and he's – no, dude, this guy's dangerous. And when you got to deal with Lamar Jackson,
that O-line,
and Derrick Henry,
when you got to deal with that O-line, that's what scares me. With him behind them, whew. So they better go get a Patrick Queen, because they're going to need him.
Yep. That's that one I didn't like at all. I'm granted Derrick Henry is a little older, but I think he's still got a little juice in the tank. He's
Yeah,
gonna be
he's still a legit
he's gonna be a
threat.
pain in
Like
the
I'm,
ass. There's no doubt about it. You alluded it to her earlier. Devin Bush signed with the Browns. As soon as I heard this, I tweeted out. There is no player on earth more born to play in Cleveland and be a part of the Browns than Devin Bush. He was born to play for them. God bless him. Good luck.
oh, I appreciate them signing him. Thank you. Start him, please.
Anything else? I don't think there's any other major. We got to keep an eye on Tyler Boyd. I think there's something to that. I don't know. Again, we don't know how much he was going to want and if they can afford him, but it's that same kind of smoke we saw with Russell Wilson. We kept hearing it, we kept hearing it, we kept hearing it, and then it happened. So we'll have to wait and see on Tyler Boyd. If it's Tyler Boyd and a first round pick, I guess I'm okay with the wide receiver core. You can definitely live with that. To go along
I don't know.
Pickens,
I don't know what pick they're gonna. I mean, I don't know.
they have to
This
go first
is
round. They have to.
yeah. I mean, I would think so too.
Barring a
I
crazy
just
trade where, like I said, Ayuk's on the trading block, T. Higgins is on the trading block. If they
I
pull off a
think
major thing like
I
that,
I think that's why they were talking to a lot of first round wide receivers.
yeah,
The plan all along has been to get rid of DJ some way, some form, some fashion. And
there's no doubt now. It seems like there's no doubt that was the
yeah,
plan.
yeah.
That
They
was the plan.
foreshadowed it. They foreshadowed it.
Yeah.
You were calling it for a while, and
It
you
just made
laid
too much
out all the
sense.
reasons,
Yeah.
and here we are.
It just made too much sense. It was too much point against it. When your wide receiver coach says, I only want tough minded wide receivers, it's that's not DJ, man. He's over there freaking, daydreaming while there's fumbles going on in the field and
Oh,
he's not blocking anybody. So you knew he wasn't going to be, he didn't fit this new system. So, all right. We had a good conversation today. We ran a little long. We're already at an hour and 15 minutes. Any last things before we get out of here?
no, I think
Did I miss anything?
I got everything off my chest.
All right. You can follow me on Twitter at SteelerSank16. Email the show at daver@SteelersSanctuary.com. Keep subscribing to the podcast, guys, and on YouTube. That really helps us out a lot. We appreciate that. Dave, give me your stuff. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, absolutely. You can find me at X on a DMC3 SSP. And then you can find me on TikTok at Steeler Sanctuary Podcast or at Steel Sank Pod. Don't forget, guys, if you like, doing fantasy sports and betting on sports, I've got the microsite for you at signupexpert.com/nothingness.
All right. Until next time, thanks for listening to the Steeler Sanctuary Podcast.